Hey guys, so today you and I are going to talk about, well, I don't really like this question, but I'm going to answer it anyway. And it is, what is the dumbest thing anybody has ever asked you as a programmer? So let's get into it. So the reason why I don't like these sorts of questions is because in my world, it's, well, we can sit here and we can talk about what is a dumb question, and we can sit here and we can talk about how do you feel about the fact that someone kind of leads you into believing that someone is dumb, because in my world there are no dumb questions. There are people who don't know something, or who aren't thinking straight, or who are uninformed or something like that, and they have a past, and there's so much there's so many things that are intricate and hard about their situation that they are asking something that may seem dumb to someone who is in a different life position. But I will try my best and answer this anyway, because I think that I can have a positive twist on this, because I don't think that this has necessarily to do with stupidity. It has to do with basically that someone doesn't really understand something that I think is very fundamental, and it's something that I've touched on before. So I have a friend, a very, very good friend of mine who I've known for many, many years. He's a great guy, and I mean, his family is amazing, and like he's a great father, he's a great businessman, and so forth and so forth. He has a lot of virtues, let's call it that, but he is not a technical person, not at all. I can pretty much, it's almost, at this time I almost have it down to a science, because he calls every so often, and I can very quickly hear that he has an idea of some sort. And you probably have a friend like that as well, who knows that you are coding, and I mean he's an idea guy. Let's call it that. He's an idea guy, and he really has great ideas, and he truly believes that these things will change the world, or they're going to do something very useful, or they should, he's really into this programming thing. He really wants all these, he's interested in programming. He doesn't want to code himself, but he really wants to come up with the ideas and be a bit of an entrepreneur, if you will. And he asked me, this is a few years ago, and he came up to me, he kind of had this idea where he said that, Fredrik, I have this thought. I mean, I can't really talk about it because it's kind of in the making right now, but I wonder if you can give me some help with this. And I kind of go, all right, let's see what he has to suggest this time, because it's not the first time he's asked for my help. And I'm sorry if I sound dismissive. I'm a bit dismissive of him, because I'm not. He's a very good friend of mine. It's just that hopefully what he asks will give you kind of a indicator of how many times he's been asking me for things that may or may not be a little bit unreasonable. So he goes, so I had this thought, Facebook, it's a pretty popular application, right? And I go, yeah, I would say so. Yeah, that's fair to say that it's a fairly popular application. And he goes, yeah, so I'm thinking, I have an idea that is kind of like Facebook, but it's a little bit different. And, I just want to, I'm thinking that you might be interested in joining in on something like that. So it's kind of like Facebook. And he goes, yeah, it's kind of like Facebook. And he has this tone, like I can feel it, like, and this is the thing about this guy. And maybe I should feel offended, I don't know, but I can very clearly hear in his voice that his expectation is for me to say, yeah, dude, I don't have anything else going on in my life. I know that you know that, and because I'm a nerd and I don't have anything else going on, and I love to work for free and like do something for somebody, do things for you, because you're such a great guy, I will jump on this idea and I will build you Facebook, or something that is kind of like Facebook. And when I immediately become, my tone gives away the fact that, all right, maybe this is a little bit unreasonable. I'm not really buying into it. And then he goes and this is absolutely lovely. And then he kind of, puts his hand on my shoulder, pats me on the shoulder, and goes, with this slight hint of condescending tone, and he says basically, well, but you don't worry about it, Fredrik. I mean, shit, all I have to do, we can come to an agreement here, right? Sure, I can pay you a pizza or two for your efforts. Now, you may think that he's joking. You may think that this is a joke, and it probably is, but you know, it's one of them jokes where it's kind of a joke. You know, I'm joking, but I'm not really joking because I'm probing you, because I'm trying to figure out in a socially graceful way if you're open to the idea. Because in his mind, building something that is sort of like Facebook is the same thing as helping someone move their apartment. That is pretty, I swear, this is what in his mind, what he believes. And you would be surprised, guys, at how many people have this really, really warped understanding of the scope of something, how big something is, because we are primitive beings, and unless you are technically skilled with IT or anything like that, it's almost impossible to get an individual to understand that that little app that you have on your phone is worked on by hundreds of people. There is it's the equivalent of building a skyscraper. That is it's the equivalent, and it's not possible for regular humans, it seems, to understand how much work goes into this, and that is by far the fact that that people don't understand how big what they're talking about. I mean, if he came over to me and said, "Dude, I want you to build a skyscraper alone," he wouldn't. I mean, he would never have asked that, because he can comprehend how big that job is. And I have worked without fail now. I have so far never met a startup idea or like entrepreneurs. I call them young entrepreneurs. They are these guys in their 20s with a wristwatch, even though they'd have a phone. Who, well, that's another story, but wristwatches on young entrepreneurs is basically you trying to be more mature than you are. That's what I believe. Because you have a phone. Why would you have a wristwatch unless it's for the... Yeah, anywho. These guys, in girls in many cases as well, even my own bosses today for the company I work at today admit that when they first started out in IT, they really truly believe that the company that I work for today could be, like, the base idea could be built by our CTO within a few days, maybe a few weeks. That's about the scope of it. The reality is that it took 2 years. So the expectations are that, you know, this thing, this programming thing, this IT thing, it's virtually free money if you're just that good of a salesperson and you have the right idea. So what I want you to take away from this is that the dumbest question I've ever had, or the dumbest request, if you will, I've ever had asked of me is, dude, I have this idea. It's kind of like Facebook, and I'm thinking maybe for 2 pizzas, or like if I treat you to a pizza or something like that, you could help me out with this. And yeah, that's going to be a fat hard no. I'm sorry to say that my private time is actually more valuable than to try to do this by myself, at least at the scope that we're talking about. And the best part is, even if I had said yes and I had tried it, odds are, and this is actually that has already happened to me once before, odds are that even though I tell the people that I work with, this is going to take too long. I'm just one individual. I just keep on saying we should reduce the scope of this. Let's try see if we can ship an MVP type of thing. See if we can just get something off the ground and validate the test. No. We need the full thing, because unless we have that dream thing, it's not worth it, right? And it ends with them basically running out of steam. You would have thought that I would be the one who ran out of steam and didn't have what it took to finish all the things. But it's actually them that they didn't have the energy to keep on going because things were taking too long. So yeah, that's gonna be my answer. Have a great day.